Hello and welcome to Cinema of Blood. My name is John. So I've actually already recorded this video, but after I recorded it and a few hours or so passed, I got to thinking that I just did not like my recording, my original recording. I didn't like some of the things I said and some of the ways that I said them. I mean, I didn't say anything hateful or anything like that. I just didn't like my presentation. So I decided I just would rather do it over. All right. So today what I'm going to be doing is a ranking of the Predator movies, the 5 Predator movies. And I know there's some of you out there going to be thinking, wait a minute, there's more than 5 because there's the 2 Alien versus Predator movies. I am not including those on this list. If I did, they would be at the very bottom of the list. I'll tell you that right now. I hated them. You know, I don't think they have, to me, they have no redeeming quality whatsoever, but that's beside the point. I just want to talk about the ones that are in the main Predator franchise, from the first Predator on down to the latest one. All right. So, and originally I decided I was going to do from worst to best, and I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to do it a different way this time. When I do it this time, I'm going to go from my number 1 pick down to my number 5 pick. Okay. Mainly because I have a whole lot better things to say about the number 1 pick than I do the number 5 pick, and they're in my head. It's in my head right now, and I just want to get it out. Okay. Another thing to remember is this. This is my opinion and my opinion only. If you have a different ranking of these movies, that is perfectly fine. We can agree to disagree, respect each other's opinion. That is all I ask for. Okay. You know, if you comment down and if you leave a comment and you know, don't sit there and go, oh, you're stupid for rating this one number 1, or you're stupid for rating this number 2, because, or 3, or whatever, because your comment will get deleted. You know, be kind, okay? That's all I'm asking is, you know, be kind. That's not a whole lot to ask for, all right? Okay, so let's go ahead and get underway with this. So, and I know my number 1 pick is going to surprise a lot of people, all right? You know, and I'm not picking this because this is the latest movie in the franchise. I'm not picking it because everybody's talking about it. I'm picking it because it checked the boxes that I wanted to see checked for a Predator movie, all right? And, of course, my number 1 is Prey, all right? So when I first saw the first Predator franchise, actually, let's go beyond that. When I saw the second Predator movie, there is a scene in the second Predator movie where Danny Glover's character is inside the Predator spaceship, and on the wall is a trophy case, and on one of them there's like you can see an alien head from the movie Aliens, the skull of one of the aliens. Another thing I noticed was what looked to be the skull of what appeared to be a T-Rex, and I thought, wow, this means that these beings have been around for millions of years or whatever. And they have been hunting all over the galaxy, and I thought, I would love to see a Predator movie that goes back in time, all right? But you just, you know, every other Predator, all the other Predator movies came out, nope, not going back in time. Might go to other planets, but not back in time. And I thought, yeah, come on, I want to see this. I mean, they kind of do it in the comic books. They do like Predator versus RoboCop, Predator versus Judge Dredd. They've even done Archie versus Predator. But I just wanted to see something in the movies where these beings, these predators, went back to basically a kind of an origin story, or not so much an origin story, but maybe something of their first appearance on Earth, all right? So that is one of the things that Prey does. It takes place in the year 1719. I believe it's on the Great Plains. And there's this Comanche tribe. And there's this Comanche girl, Neru, and Neru, she's kind of a healer. You know, she knows a lot about herbs and knows a lot about roots and stuff like that for healing and medicine and things. But she wants to be a hunter. She wants to be a hunter like her brother, okay? Her brother is a great hunter. And she wants to be just like him. I'm sorry repeating myself. I don't mean to be. But she kind of has to go through what's kind of a ritual. And this is kind of where it leads into her encounter with the Predator when it finally does, when it does appear. and it's a ritual basically where you hunt that which is hunting you. All right, and there's a little prologue for this when she goes up against a mountain lion, and then this kind of leads into her confrontation with the predator itself. All right, so that's one of the things I love. Another one that clicks the boxes for me is that ever since the Predator movies have been coming out, I wanted to see the Predator go up against an opponent that you would least expect. You know, because, okay, let's put it this way. We had Arnold in the first Predator movie, big muscular guy. He's got a pretty good chance against the Predator if he plays his cards right. Even Danny Glover was pretty muscular. Then you had all the guys in like Predators and the Predator. You know, they had all high-tech weaponry and things like that to go up against it. But here you've got this one girl with a tomahawk. All right? You know, I mean, you talk about the testing of the skills and a total mismatch, and yet this girl holds her own. In fact, you know what? I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to compare her to Ripley from the Alien movies, especially Alien and Aliens, all right? Because here's another situation where you have this big, terrifying creature and this woman that has been thrust into this, survive or else situation against this creature that she knows nothing about. And just like Naru, or just like Ripley, Naru, and I don't want to spoil anything. I'm not going to spoil anything. All right, but that's the reason why I'm putting this at number one. I just love the aesthetic of this movie, and I love the way the Predator basically tested the waters, going up against bigger and bigger opponents. You know, like first it goes up against, it does battle, so to speak, with a rattlesnake. You know, because, all right, is that the kind of thing I want to hunt, is what it's thinking. You know, and then it goes up against a wolf, pretty formidable opponent if you up against anything else, and then finally a grizzly bear, and then finally against Naru, and also against a bunch of Frenchmen that are pretty much the bad guys of this movie. All right? So those are the reasons I'm putting Prey, at number one on my list. All right, so there you go. Okay, so let's move on to number two. I'm trying to make this video as short as I can. Probably is still going to get a little bit long, but number two, I'm going to put the original Predator at my number two on my list, all right? So, the good things about the original Predator, the creature, the Predator, and this is the first appearance of it, looks fantastic. Also, the actor, Kevin Peter Hall, that was playing the Predator in the movies, big, tall dude. He passed away, died of AIDS, sadly. Big, tall dude, moved just so agile. He also played Harry in Harry and the Hendersons. He was the Bigfoot. But definitely, the chemistry, if you want to call it that, between Arnold's character Dutch and the Predator during their battles is really just fantastic. Okay, but there are other things in this thing that the reason I put it at number two is I don't think this movie has really stood well the test of time. All right. One thing I will say about this is one of the biggest faults in this movie is Arnold. This movie clearly shows his limitations as an actor. Some of his delivery of lines are just so wooden. It's like you can see the wood coming out of his mouth as he speaks, like these wooden words. And he does these one-liners that are so inorganic. They have no flow to them whatsoever. Like he'll throw a knife through somebody and it'll stick to the wall and they'll be stuck to the wall. He's like, stick around, and it's just so inorganic. You're like, oh my gosh, this is painful to watch, okay? Another thing is that, and I know this is a weird complaint, but I don't think I have seen a movie where I just imagined the screenwriters, which were Jim and John Thomas, I can just see the two of them writing this and going, hey, let's see how many scenes we can write that are so full of testosterone that every male watching this movie, their balls will swell up to the size of grapefruits, all right? You know, because it does. The testosterone just flows through this movie, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost toxic. It is almost toxic masculinity is what it is. And then the cast. The cast is pretty cool. I mean, you got all these action heroes like Carl Weathers, Schwarzenegger, Jesse Ventura. I mean, yeah, the Predator goes up against two governors, okay? You know, he goes up against the governor, you know, Arnold. You know, get to the chopper. And then, of course, he goes up against Jesse Ventura, you Mr. I ain't got time to bleed, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah, like I said, and of course the effects are great, and the battles are great, the Predator looks great, but yeah, there's just certain things about this, to me, the movie just hasn't stood the test of time, alright? So, there you go. Alright, let's move on, because my battery is getting low, and I want to go get through this video. Alright, so number 3. Number 3 is Predator 2. Alright, I ranked Predator 2 just slightly lower than the first Predator. Just mainly because, yeah, the first Predator was a little bit better despite its faults. Predator 2 takes place in Los Angeles 10 years later. There's like gang wars. The cops are going up against these drug gangs and things like that. And in the middle of it all is the Predator. He is looking for things to hunt. And these drug guys with their machine guns and they're screaming and they're yelling and their hand grenades and all that are perfect foil for the Predator, alright? Alright, but the mistake the Predator makes is he kills Danny Glover's partner, and Danny Glover decides he's going to get revenge on this being, not realizing what this thing is, you know, at first, alright? There's a subplot in here with Gary Busey as the leader of this tactical unit that's going to try to capture the Predator, bring him back alive, study him and everything. You can imagine how that goes, alright? But yeah, this one, like I said, I just put it at number 3 because the first two movies I mentioned are just a little bit better. The first one even more, way better. But Predator, yeah, just a little bit better, you know. At first I didn't buy Danny Glover as an action hero. Then I thought, you know, let me watch this again. I watched it again. I'm like, yeah, he does. It does work well. And he has one-liners too, you know. And his flows so much more organically than Schwarzenegger's. All right. So number 3, Predator 2. All right. Let's move on to number 4. Number 4 is Predators. All right. Predators. This is, to me, the movie that could have been. This could have been so much better. But there's just certain things, especially with the casting of a couple of people in this, that I just did not get. I did not buy, alright? The Predators look fantastic. They all have different looks to them. The action scenes are pretty cool, nice explosions and all kinds of pyrotechnics and stuff. You know, then you got the Predator and the things that he does to the people that he kills. All right. So what it is about is all these people: Adrian Brody, Walton Goggins, Danny Trejo, Alice Braga, Topher Grace. They get dropped, and I mean literally dropped onto this planet. You know, and they don't even realize it's not Earth for a while, but they get dropped onto this planet, and what the planet is, it's basically a hunting ground for the Predators, and they, you know, of course, are what these Predators are going to be hunting. All of them have some kind of criminal or violent record. All right, Walton Goggins, it says he was going to be executed in 2 days. He's still in his orange prison suit. Adrian Brody is like supposed to be some kind of mercenary. I'm not sure about Alice Braga. Danny Trejo looks like he would be in the middle of the drug cartel, you know. And this is a movie produced by Robert Rodriguez, and it's directed by one of Rodriguez's proteges, Nimrod Antal. And so it's no surprise that Danny Trejo is in this movie, because he's in every damn frickin' Robert Rodriguez movie ever put to film. You know, I think if Rodriguez filmed the consummation of his wedding, I guarantee you Trejo was probably doing the filming or was in it in some capacity, like a picture on his nightstand or something. I don't know, but anyway, that's the premise of it. Is this is a hunting ground for these predators, and these guys are the hunted. Okay, all right. What did I not buy about this? Two casting choices I just did not buy. First of all, Adrian Brody. I did not buy Adrian Brody 1 second as a badass action star. I can't. I cannot wrap my head around it. But even worse was casting Topher Grace as and spoilers, I'm going to spoil some things, was casting Topher Grace as a doctor. And it turns out this doctor, he's like a Harold Shipman. And if you don't know who Harold Shipman is, look him up and you'll see what I'm talking about with Topher Grace's character. I don't know. I kept expecting Donna from that 70s show to show up and start smacking him upside the head, going, you know, or his dad, what's his name, from Red, from 70s show. I kept expecting him to show up and ask him if he wants a foot up his ass, you know, or something like that, because I just did not buy Topher Grace as a villain. I didn't buy him as a villain in Spider-Man 3 either, so there you go. All right, so that's my number 4 rankings. Let's move on to my worst, okay? The Predator. Yeah, The Predator, other than the Alien vs. Predator movies, The Predator is the absolute worst of the Predator movies. First of all, the title, The Predator, makes it sound like he's the only one. You know, I'm pretty sure there've been other Predators, so I don't understand the exclusivity or whatever it is of the title. Okay, the premise of it is this: you have one Predator that comes to Earth. And of course you think he's there to hunt people and everything. He's here to give us a gift. And it's a gift to help us combat against the other predators. What? Really? Why? That's, you know, you're betraying your own kind. What? Why? What did we do to make you feel so endeared to us? Alright? Stupid. Alright? So then the next thing you have is this. You have this, other predator that comes to hunt this predator, and he's huge. I guess he is the predator of this story, okay? There's one scene in it where the predator talks, alright, through some kind of computer, like doing a computer thing, and he's so eloquent. I mean, I thought this thing was going to be doing Shakespeare in the Park. I liked the way the Predator talked when he would imitate voices. He sounded like an alien. And also he explains that an autistic 12-year-old boy is his most formidable opponent. What? Really? You got these guys with machine guns? You got them with all kinds of firearms and things like that, but it's a 12-year-old kid that you want to go up and hunt against? Really? I mean, I'm blaming two things on this. I'm thinking, well, this is either poor writing, which it is, or this big, huge predator has some serious confidence issues. Okay? And then there are just some scenes in it, they're just ridiculous. There's like this predator dog that all of a sudden becomes the best friend of the humans because it gets its head rattled by a grenade or something. And it's, you know, almost to the point where they're playing fetch with this thing. It's like, really? What? Why? And then there's the whole thing with the kid, the autistic kid. And don't get me wrong, I'm not making fun of autistic kids. Don't get me wrong. I have a soft spot for autistic children. You know, and anybody that has autism, it's rough. But just the subplot of him supposedly being the most formidable opponent of this creature, this huge creature, I'm like, I just do not get it. There's just so many things about this movie. And then you have like the dad of the autistic kid. He's supposed to be the big hero. and he's got these guys he's leading, and one of them is Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane has like Tourette's in this thing. All he does throughout the entire movie is like say really horrible swear words, and they're like, oh, he's got Tourette's. And then you have these other characters that are just completely ridiculous. This is directed by Shane Black. Now, Shane Black was in the original Predator movie. He was the guy that kept telling the horrible vagina jokes to the Native American guy, Billy. Alright, and he actually directed Iron Man 3, which was okay, but this one here is like, what went wrong? Everything went wrong with this movie. It's just horrible. Alright, it's one of those movies where if you're watching it late at night and you just want something to shut off your brain, okay, fine, that's it. If you watch this movie and you start thinking through this movie, yeah, your head's going to explode, because you're not going to be able to fathom just some of the crap that happens in this movie. So that is my number 5 pick. So number 1, Prey. Number 2, Predator. Number 3, Predator 2. Number 4, Predators. Number 5, The Predator. The Predator. Alright, The Predator. Okay, anyway, thank you guys for watching. Take care and stay scared. Bye-bye.